I'm making this video about my Sprinter van that I built last winter. Started building in about January, took till probably April, worked on it a little bit at a time here and there, evenings, weekends. And this is Spencer the Sprinter. Just had a nice snow yesterday, so might be a nice day to do some video editing inside. So I figured I'd show you a little bit about Spencer. And I took some video on the last camping trip that I took up to PA Grand Canyon. So anyways, here's snowy Spencer. One of the features of Spencer that I like, and I tried to build it this way, is to make it pretty stealth. It does have the system on the top, the heating and cooling system. That's the dead giveaway. But it does have full hookups for water, sewer, electric, and look, you can see complete side profile that you cannot see any of that. It's all stealth. And when you look at the back of the van here, got the usual little backup cam. Like, this is about the only thing you can see that's not stock. That is a little port for the black tank exhaust. And this was just a used van that I had gotten. You know, it's got about 150,000 miles on it. It's 2012. I had to fix a few mechanical things. I have some things I'm still working on with it too. But overall, it's been a pretty good van. It hasn't left me sit on any of those trips, which was my biggest fear, getting stuck on a mountain somewhere, or having a breakdown 1,000 miles away from home. That hasn't happened, thankfully. It's been good so far. So anyways, I'll show you a few things inside now. One of the strategies that I wanted to keep with this van was to keep all the electrical stuff that I put in, all the components, completely separate from the van. I didn't want to cause any issues with that being tied together whatsoever. So all the van systems are completely separate from the RV side of things. Another thing that was important to me was making sure that all the original van wiring remains accessible. So any wires that are back in the rear, mainly along that whole top side, I have panels that are removable to get into the wiring should the need ever arise, and to run a new wire to the back. So that can all be fished through and or accessible along that back corner. So those were kind of some starting points. Just a little bit about the insulation. I used 1.5-inch rigid foam everywhere I could, and the edges are done with spray foam to seal it. And then in any hollow channels or irregular areas, I used rock wool insulation, and it's been fine. I haven't had any complaints or issues with that. It keeps it reasonably well insulated. I had it on a pretty cold camping trip when we went to Wellsboro, PA Grand Canyon. It was pretty cold up there, and it did a good job. I had the heater, of course, but things were kept warm without too much condensation. So as we look at the front entry here, this is some shoe storage that is handy right at the door. And here's your entry light. So that just does one light right up here for coming in and out. If you want to go visit your friends, you have a entry light right at the door. And just an outlet for anything that you might want to do on a table out here. Maybe you want to plug something in out here, and a little charging 12-volt charging system right there. These countertops are made out of sycamore, and they have an epoxy top finish on them. That was my first time doing epoxy. It turned out okay. Here's some nice little flecks in this top. It's really pretty. I like how it turned out. It wasn't perfect, but it turned out pretty nice. I was happy with it. Here's the other side. So it has kind of a removable cutting board over the sink, which is nice, gives you a little more countertop area. I thought about recessing a stove down in here, but so far I've just been using this little portable job, and that's been fine so far. I haven't really wanted for anything more. Those 2 burners make a nice breakfast or dinner on them, and that is just fine. Nice thing about this cutting board is I can still run the water if I need to, because there's a cutout for it. So I like that. And my wife's got some little lights strung up here. We have a curtain that goes across for privacy, and a little spice rack. And that does a pretty good job while we're driving. Stuff doesn't fall out of that. It's not bad. And while we're parked, this curtain will be open normally, and we'll have our window coverings in that are insulated, and we'll swivel this seat around. This, I like having this strong, solid support all the way down. If anything flies up while I'm driving, hopefully that'll keep it from taking out the back of the driver's seat there. Alright, so this sycamore slab, I got a nice big slab, and that also makes up our table. This flips down, get a little extra support underneath. A little creaky, but yeah, nice little surface there. Seating for 2, that works well. A nice little artwork to look at up here. So we enjoy that. That was fun to make too. I used a couple scraps from my sycamore slab to make some nice little design features. And one thing I like about this van is the center walkway. Getting around in a van, if you've seen other van setups, I mean, a lot of times the getting back and forth in the van is super tight. There's no room to walk. This one, I'm gonna say, you know, you can get from the front to the back without too much problem. It's wide enough. You don't have to shimmy too much or anything like that. So it has a nice little walkway down the middle here, and then turns, and then your bathroom is back here. So there's a little bit of space in here. I'll tell you a little bit about the kitchen cabinets. I really tried to, on the layout of this, I only had about 4 feet to work with. And I wanted to maximize the space as much as possible. I had this sink that I wanted to use, and I wanted a 120 volt fridge, so that's what that is, just under counter 120 volt fridge. And then besides that, it was just a matter of getting as much drawer space and cabinet space as I could. So we have these kitchen cabinets, we have these uppers that flip up, and then I have the front of this one over here that keeps our pots and pans, and a nice drawer for all the extra stuff that you need on a camper. I made all these doors and drawer fronts. They turned out pretty nice. The material I used could have been a little bit nicer, but it had a pretty thin veneer on it. That was my only complaint about it. I'm pretty happy with how the doors and drawers turned out. These flip up and have struts that hold them open, which is nice. This is an indoor bike storage slash kind of whatever wet stuff you have, you can hang right here. This is a PVC wall covering, so that won't get destroyed. The floor is also full PVC luxury vinyl plank flooring, just something I had left over from a project. So that has been pretty easy to keep clean. That's been nice. Just for looks, did some wood panels there on the back door with some hooks. There's also a little shelf here on the back that comes in handy, and stuff doesn't usually fly out of there. It stays pretty good while we're driving. And then on the inside of the door, did some wood panels also, just kind of for a nice Nice look. All right, one thing you have to know about me is I enjoy working with wood. So if I can make something out of wood, I usually do. But I'm trying to get a little better at metalworking and some of the other aspects of things. But my friends will make fun of me because, you know, you can make a lot of things out of wood, and sometimes I'll try that first. Anyways, this ceiling, I wasn't going to leave this just a clear-coated wood. I was going to paint that, but it ended up turning out pretty nice. So I thought, you know what, I'm just going to clear coat that. And I've been pretty happy with how that looks and how that turned out. And same with the side panel here. That was just a piece of flooring underlayment, you know, and I sanded it off and clear coated it. I thought, oh, you know what, I kind of like the looks of that. I'll just keep that just a piece of clear coated wood. As we look at our little sofa area, we have some nice storage under there. Keep some nice camping equipment, stuff I don't need to get to too often because it's a little bit of pain to take the cushions off and get under there. We did make the cushions. They're kind of homemade. They turned out pretty nice. They're not perfect, but it's a reasonably comfortable sofa. And the layout of it is very nice. We got this walkway because it sort of cuts through at the corner here. And then the bathroom being at the back is a nice layout. Now, boy, I certainly went back and forth to that. A lot of campers have the bathroom right here. And part of the reason for that is there's a nice place for storage tanks right underneath that. And most toilets would be like a gravity drain, or you'll see a lot of cassette toilets or that kind of thing in a camper van. I wanted a flushing toilet, but there's another solution for having a flush toilet, and that is to have a marine style toilet. So if you have a marine toilet, what it does is it grinds up the waste that you put down, sends down a flow of water with it, and then it'll pump to any location you have, let's say within 20 feet or so. So that's what I have. I have this toilet at the back, a marine toilet. I have some other stuff stored in here. But this marine toilet pumps across the van and over to a black tank that we have down underneath this part. So anyways, that works pretty well. That toilet works great. I've had no problems with it. Been pretty happy with how it performed, and I didn't get an expensive one. A lot of the macerating toilets, marine toilets, are like $800. The setup I got, I think it was a Seaflow, and it was around $300 or $350. So it was reasonably priced, and I've been happy with it so far. It's been good. No problems. So this is a full working bath. So here's your electric switch, 12 volt, that does the marine toilet. The whole bottom is a shower pan, measures somewhere around 31 by 32 inches. Has a little threshold at the front. That shower base I made out of a slightly larger pan. I think it was like 32 by 32 or maybe 34 by 32. And I cut it down and resealed flanges on the edges so it fit in there perfectly. I had to rebuild it a little bit as I did, but everything is double sealed. In other words, it has sealing underneath on the parts that were added back onto it, and it has this top layer of sealant around the base. All right, and here is a tiny sink that's about 14 inches by 7 inches. Little tiny mirror on the wall, and shower valve, shower head, towel holders, and a little latch that closes while you're in there. So anyways, this is very comfortable. Believe it or not, we have a little 6-gallon water heater in here, and you can take a comfortable as you can get shower in a tiny space. You know, you're kind of huddled up a little bit in there, but for the space that it is, it's pretty comfortable. You can get a nice shower and feel nice and refreshed after that. So it's a good setup. We like having, we have gone off grid, but we like having full hookups too. It's nice to have your heat, your AC, your full comforts, and then it's very easy to unhook. It takes probably less than a minute to unhook, and then you're driving off on the road. And I leave my hookups there at the campsite. I haven't had any problems with doing that. These are insulated window shades. We have ones that cover each and every window. They're about a 1/2 inch thick. They have a foam and then a foil on both sides, and then one side I covered with felt. So I usually put the felt side out. It looks a little bit nicer than seeing the foil. And that was a fun little project making them. I also have a nice set of screens that I made from some screen I had left over from a project, and that covers this door and the whole side door. So when we are off grid, we can get some real nice ventilation, keep the bugs out. So I do really like that screen system. It just attaches with some Velcro strategically placed that I attach to both the screen and to some of these other spots. You can see a few Velcro pieces there. So I'll show you that sometime when I have it set up. Another way to get privacy on this back door, I just added this little feature. It's kind of nice if you don't want to put your window shade in, but you want to block your back door for some privacy. You can just keep that kind of flipped open. As far as electrical and mechanical systems, they are all contained underneath this panel. So I've just been using this portable power pack. It's fine. It doesn't run heat and AC very long, so I wouldn't use heat or AC off-grid unless I had significantly more batteries and power. But I do have the means to run toilet, plumbing, and lighting off-grid. And that's enough for what I want. I'm not going to do a ton of off-grid camping at this point in life, but I can always add some more power in the future and some more solar capability. I can charge a little bit by solar. I can charge by driving around and plug in this pack, and that does a great job. I usually keep my fridge running when I'm driving around. I'll just have that going, and my pack will be charging and keeping the fridge going. I do have a little RV electric panel in here, which I like. That has breakers for 120 and 12 volt, and then I have a little 12 volt converter back behind there that does the whole 12 volt side of the panel. So I have plenty of space for running more 12 volt equipment if I wanted to. I can also bypass the 12 volt converter and just hook up some things to the power pack directly if I wanted to do that. This is a plug that I use for charging the power pack. That'll go up to the 12 volt cigarette lighter, and that does a nice job of charging while we're driving. And you can see in the back there's some plumbing pipes and a waste line that comes through there from the toilet over to the black tank. So I took a few pictures underneath. I'll show you the kind of the stealth setup and how I connect the full hookups of the campsite underneath. Once you have the hang of it, you can mostly do it by feel without having to lay on your back. But maybe like the first time or two, I put down a little mat, laid on my back, and hooked them up. But I got it down pretty good. I have a quick connect on the water line, so that snaps on, and then the electric line has a positive. It can only attach one way, so a little bit of rotation as you're connecting it, it'll connect firmly, and you'll know when it's connected. And then of course the sewer pipe, that's kind of the lowest piece, and that's good because it's also the trickiest to attach. So you have to line the pins and turn the pipe as it attaches, just like a regular RV camper sewer hose. And then you have to open the gate valves and you're all set to go for draining your sewer tank. All right, well, that's a little bit about the mechanical system. As far as this bathroom, this door is a PVC panel, 3/8 of an inch thick, and that has worked pretty well. It's completely waterproof, it's water impermeable. And then the walls of the shower are FRP, and they are over top of a waterproof tile underlayment that is sealed. So again, it's double sealed. So all the underlayment underneath here is lightweight because it's a foam core, and it's sealed. And then this panel goes on top, and it's also sealed at all the edges again. So definitely a lot of care and attention was taken to make sure that the bathroom, this whole area, is completely waterproof and not going to leak into the rest of the van. One of the main features of the van is the flip down bed. So this was an integral part of the design. I wanted something that would be very comfortable, would also not take up all the space in the van because it flips up out of the way when it's not being used. So of course that flip down bed is right here where the table is attached to. So I'm going to give you a demonstration of putting the bed down, and you'll see as we do this that it is a wall-to-wall bed. So I have these legs that fold down. They're metal, and they bear on top of the sofa here, so they have good support when it's flipped down. These hinges that the bed is mounted to are spring-loaded, so this is not a very heavy bed assembly. You can see that I can just leave it there. I'm not touching it at all right now, right? See, it just is kind of self-supporting. It's tuned so that it has the right clearance, but it's not overly heavy. All right. There we have it. The bed is flipped down, and you can see that the sofa cushions are perfectly aligned right with the top of the bed. So you can't drop all your stuff down in there at night. I also have this little piece of foam that I made here that fills the gap. So when this flips up, there has to be a gap for where this cushion, which is 8 inches thick, flips up into. So how do we fix that problem? Well, this flips down, and then this little piece of foam goes on top of there, goes down a little bit more flat, and then we have a wall-to-wall, very comfortable bed, 8-inch memory foam. So we love it. It's been working great, and it's very comfortable. Get a nice sleep. We did a two-week trip up to Canada, Nova Scotia, earlier this year, and it did great. We were very comfortable the whole time. At no point did we want to stop and get a hotel for a night or two. All right, and then flipping it back up, again, you'll see it's nice and light. Be a little squeaky. And then this gets latched. Legs back down. And there you go. The bed is back up out of the way, and you have your nice clear walkway, and you're back in business for normal operations, not sleeping. This is a nice feature to have. Pull out trash can. This sofa is not too bad for taking a nap on during the day. I've done that in between some bike rides and some other things. We'll come back sometimes and take a little nap on here. And then the swivel seat on the front for a second person is not a bad place to take a nap too. That kind of reclines nicely. So we have some nice, for two people, even if you don't have the bed down, you can still take a little nap if you want to. So that's nice. Did I have any disasters yet in this van. Well, I wouldn't say disaster, but on the Blue Ridge Parkway, you know how windy that is, right? I was driving a little too fast and I blew out some of these screws and the bed was coming out. So I did have to reinforce that, put in longer screws. I also had some problems with this drawer coming out and actually flying off the tracks and breaking off. So I had to fix that and redo that, and put some more positive attachments so it stays shut. So nothing too disastrous for the first year of trips, but a couple annoying things that did need to get fixed when we got home. Okay, I think I'm going to end the video on Spencer. If you have any questions, put them down in the comments for me. If you have any suggestions for improvements, I'll be willing to hear them out. This is a work in progress. This winter I do have a little bit of mechanical work. Maybe I'll make a video about that if I'm feeling ambitious.